know about you, but one of the most fun things about the Nintendo Switch 2, just like the original Nintendo Switch, is kind of shopping around and finding cool accessories for it. Like everybody wants to find a cool case that matches their personality. Maybe you're looking for a new controller if you're playing with a lot of friends. And we did a video on some Switch 2 accessories that you might want to check out before the system came out. But hey, it's out now and we've got it, and we've got a whole bunch of new accessories that we want to show off that we have been using that you might find interesting. So let's dive into a couple things that we've got here, and we're going to put all the links for everything in the description. If you're interested, you can just click right through. Let's start with a controller, and we have the PowerA Advantage wired controller. I've got two different ones of these here, and I wanted to put this one in the box because it's cool taking it out of the box. So unlike some of the other controllers that we've been showing, which are great, they're unlicensed. This is an officially licensed controller. You can see there, it's got the official Nintendo seal of quality, for whatever that means. That does get you a couple things. For example, it does have a C button on it. So a lot of the unlicensed controllers don't have a C button at all. This one does have a C button. So there are some benefits of getting something that is officially licensed. This one has official Mario artwork on it. Obviously, other controllers are not going to be able to use official Nintendo artwork, and PowerA's had a lot of controllers through the life of the original Nintendo Switch that had all sorts of official Nintendo artwork. So let's open it up and take a look. And one thing that you are going to notice with an officially licensed controller is that it does use a wire. This is a wired controller. They give you a pretty long wire. This is noted as 3 meters. So you'll want to do the math and see if that works for your setup. But here you can see this kind of process of taking it out of the box. It's almost like opening a Zelda treasure chest. Da, 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 da. There it is. That's pretty cool. But it does have the Hall effect sticks on it, which is great. No worries about drift here. It does have, like the official Nintendo Pro Controller, 2 programmable buttons in the back. Also really nice, it has a headphone jack that you can adjust straight from the volume, straight from buttons on the front. Like I said, there's the official Mario version. They do just have a regular black version if you want something that looks a little bit more straightforward. So, and I talked about some of the trade-offs of getting something that's officially licensed. On one hand, you can get the cool artwork. On the other hand, Nintendo wants to be the official version that has a wireless controller, so you're going to need the wire. This costs $40, which I think is pretty good for what you're paying for. I've used it for a little bit. I would say that the sticks are not quite as tight as the official Nintendo controller. That controller is like $85, so I'm not expecting the quality overall to be that great, but it feels very nice in the hand. The sticks are feeling good, and you got that Hall effect, and then the buttons as well. So again, if you're looking for something that's a little bit cheaper than the official options that are out there, or even frankly cheaper than some of the third-party options, and you're not worried about the wire, then this is one that you can consider from PowerA. In our last video, we talked about some products from Genki that we didn't have yet, but we have them now. So we're going to go through a few of them today. This is the Genki sleeper case, which Krysta is actually on a trip right now and is using this, and it says she's having a really good time with it. I think the thing that I just like about this is that it looks really cool. It's got this kind of wool finish to it that just looks classy, if you ask me. But it's not a soft wool case. Like, listen. It's got some real protection built into it. And when we met with the Genki folks at PAX East, they were saying, oh, we were throwing this thing off of our roof and seeing what happened, and it was pretty much indestructible. So that's cool. Inside, you have room for your system, holds a bunch of games. It's going to hold it all really tight. I'll just go ahead and put my system in, and you can see. There you have it. Close it up. One thing I did notice about this is that it's got, I don't know what the official terminology is, it's just got a small zipper on it, which means it's a little slow to move, and you kind of have to give it a good pull. But otherwise, got a little grip for it on the back here. Again, I just like the look of this. It does feel like the Switch 2 is very well protected inside. So this is $43 from the official Genki site, which is a couple dollars more than the official Nintendo case, but I think there's a lot to like about this one. In addition to just a regular travel case, we also have a shoulder bag from a company called Coops. And this, I really like the design of this. It looks kind of like a jewel almost with these angles on it. And it's not big. It's not the size of a full-sized backpack. This is kind of like a cross-body bag. So it's got just exactly enough space for your system, some controllers in the front. There's another little pouch that you can put your dock right in there. So I feel like this is like, if you're going over to a friend's house or doing like, I don't know, if you're doing like a sleepover or something, like you could just load up everything for your system into here versus like throwing it into a backpack and having things like, you know, bang around in there. Like this is kind of perfectly oriented for everything that you would need for the Switch 2. And again, it's very soft and breathable on the back, but feels very hard and durable from the front, so you know that your stuff is going to be secure. This is $45, so I think that's a pretty good price for what you're getting for this. Another kind of category of accessory that's been really popular over the last couple years for Nintendo Switch is grips. And one that I wanted to show off today is the Genki Attack Vector, which again, we talked about last time, but we just got in. So this is 3 parts. There is kind of a shell for the back. And on the back, this does also have a MagSafe attachment. So I'll talk a little bit about what you can do with that in a moment. And then it comes with 3 different sets of grips for your Joy-Con. So there's kind of a small, medium, and large. So you can customize what feel on the Joy-Con that you want. And I'll just show you how you put it on. It just kind of slides right in there. So very easy to go ahead and get that in. Do the other one. There we go. And then the piece on the back just kind of wraps around, and you want to line up all of the inputs so that they can be accessible. And that's the thing that's great about this is the controllers are still completely modular. So it feels really great actually to be holding it. I don't typically use a grip, but I do like the feel of this. You feel like you're getting more support for it. But then again, when I want to take it off and play with detached Joy-Con, I can totally do that, and it still has the security of the back piece, and the grips are on the Joy-Con, so that's very nice. I mentioned the MagSafe point on the back of this. Genki does have a separate battery that they do sell. It doesn't come with this. You have to buy that separately. That's a $70 battery, but it's a really nice battery. And we saw it attaches right to the back and attaches with a magnet, so it's really secure. And then you can just plug that right into your system. And we know a lot of people have been having some concerns about the battery life of the system. Like if you're on a long drive or a long flight, that could be a really great solution for that. Now, something else I noticed is if you just want the grip effect, like you don't necessarily need the middle part, so you can just have the 2 pieces on the Joy-Con, and then this way it really makes it easy to dock the system like this and have those 2 grips attached for when you are ready to take it out and play in handheld mode. So this Genki Attack Vector is $50 from their site. It hasn't completely launched yet. It's still in pre-order. They said it's going to be launching later this month, so they have a site on their site, a place for you to sign up to be notified when you can actually go ahead and buy the thing. I just mentioned before, people are a little bit worried about the battery life on the Switch 2, and you know, whether you get the one from Genki, just that idea of having a power bank is a good thing to look into, because that's the worst feeling in the world when it's like, gosh, I've got a long flight and oh, this plane doesn't have power outlets or somebody else is using it and my system is rapidly draining battery. There's so many power banks out there, and I've got an older one that is totally fine. It's fine to continue using it on the Switch 2, but there was one that we saw that's a little bit newer that we liked. It's the Anker Nano power bank. And the thing that sets it apart from some other power banks is just this aspect of convenience of use, and it's really built around that. It's very small, and you can just flip out the plug, so you actually plug the bank itself into your power source, and the USB-C cable is built into the power bank. So a lot of times, like when you have a power bank, it's like this mad search of like, oh, well, do I have the plug? And oh, it's the USB, but I don't have the brick and I can't plug it in, or I've got the wrong USB, so I can't plug it into my Switch 2. So this kind of eliminates all of the guesswork and the challenge of that, and just gives you everything that you need. And it's not a huge power bank, but according by their stats, it does have and hold enough power to fill your Switch 2 all the way at least once, and probably a little bit more than that. So you can kind of do the math on kind of what your travel plan is and see if that works for you. Depending on where you get that, that's going to be about $35 to $45, which feels like a pretty good value for what you're getting. I got a couple more things that we want to show off here. This is the Genki Mimic chest, which is a case for all of your game cards. And you might be like, well, who cares? Like, I can get any sort of a case for that. The thing that's nice about these is they are, and you get three. You get a set of three when you buy them, and they each hold 12 different game cards. They're the same color, shape, size, make of the official Switch game card case. So when you're putting this in with your collection, it's not going to stand out as something that's weird. And Genki actually will give you a template to create your own box art that you can put into the sleeve. So you can have some fun with that if you want to put like all your RPGs in one and make a case that's all about your RPGs. But there is something nice, again, for traveling about having something that's very consistent and easy to access, that's compact. A lot of cases do give you storage for this, but if you've got more games or if you have some sort of a specialized need, this is something that you might want to look into. This is $20 from Genki, and again, each order comes with 3 of those in there, so you'll be holding a lot of physical games if you've got a lot of physical games. Last thing I wanted to show off, and I think we mentioned this in our last video, is again, a screen protector. This is the Genki Aegis Shield, and I know a lot of people out there don't necessarily feel like they need a screen protector, and that's totally up to your personal preference. It's something that I definitely use and feel like I need to have. And for me, like, the ease of use is something that is very important to me. I get nervous if I'm just kind of freely putting it down on the screen. And something with the Genki Aegis Shield is that they have what they're calling a no-fail applicator, which sounds good to me as a bona fide moron who truly struggles with this sort of thing. So it's a tempered glass screen protector, as you see. They really kind of went overboard with the packaging for this thing. Like, this is like a really nice cardboard box, like custom box that like opens up like this. And something that we saw from the Genki team is that the screen protector is very resistant to scratches. When we saw it at PAX East, like, they were going at it with like a razor blade, they had a lighter, they had a screwdriver, and they were really going at it. And to their credit, like, we didn't really see anything weird that was going on with it. So that looked good to us in terms of the overall protectiveness of it. So the way it works is you can just kind of lay down, and I already have a screen protector on mine, but you lay down the screen protector and you can apply the guide, which will fit over perfectly, so that you know that it's being put on with the right dimensions of the screen, and then it's very easy to just apply it and pull it off and make sure that everything's completely clean and dust-free. So that's something, again, like, if you feel like you want a screen protector, there's this, or there's a lot of other ones that come with these sorts of guides or aids or applicators that will help you really remove the stress from that, because and I didn't feel like there were a lot of those back when the original Switch came out, so I had some very tense moments when I was trying to put those on myself, and just beads of sweat of like, I'm gonna screw this up. And these days, you don't really feel like you're gonna screw it up at all. So These come with 2 screen protectors in each pack, so that's great if you want to share one with a friend or whatever else you want to do with it, and that's for $20. So that's everything that we've got to show off as far as our next wave of Switch 2 accessories. I think this is going to get everybody kind of covered through the launch of, again, whether you need a case, if you got a trip coming up. Krysta's on a trip right now. I've got a trip coming in a couple weeks, so I'm very focused on like getting ready to go on that trip and have everything that I need. But there's so many cool things out there, like controllers. The power bank is something, it's a little bit annoying that you actually need it, but it's something that's functional, that's out there. So we hope you found something that was useful, that you might be interested in this video. Again, check out part 1 if you haven't already. If you have a great Switch 2 accessory that you would like to recommend, please leave a comment and let us know. And we'll be back with more good stuff soon, everybody. Bye.